You are listening to Insights with Kathleen. Please join me while I share my insights and experiences with the hope to inspire you to look inside of yourself for the answers that you already have. As with all information we receive, take what speaks to you and leave the rest.
Hey
guys, what's up? We literally just did a podcast before recording this, and I didn't know it was not a podcast.
Yeah, Sherry figures once I start talking, it must be a podcast, but it really wasn't.
It was just intricate details, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, because of the show. And you're like, no, I want to get this out of the way so we can do the actual show. And I'm like, I did not get that from what you were saying.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when Sherry asks me a question, and I'm like, oh, Sherry, let's record this, because I think we're going to want to record this for a later date.
Oh, for sure.
And then she thought for sure that, this was just going to be their podcast. But
see,
lo and behold, I surprised her.
You did, especially because what you were talking about before is what we wanted to talk about today. So, Kathleen,
Sherry, what do you have? Oh, wait, aren't I supposed to pick the topics?
Well,
that's okay. I'll volley it over to you.
Oh, thank you. We're gonna talk about words and vibrations. Yay! And
what are we talking about?
Words and their vibrations and wording.
Words and vibration.
Yeah.
Okay, say more.
Oh, okay. I will say more. So I was on the phone with Cathleen at some point before this, and we were talking, and she was telling me a bit about what you say and how you say it. The word choices that you use affect how you think of something.
Okay. So we're going to back up just a little bit.
Okay.
So, Sherry, we're still in the month of February.
February, yeah.
The month of love.
Brotherly love. I think that's Philadelphia. Never mind.
I was going to say sisterly love.
Sisterly love. I don't know what city that is.
Well, actually, even more so in more depth, when we were talking about self-talk.
Yes. Yeah.
And the importance of making the word choices, kind of like what you were saying, but I just want to give a little more context around it. So we were talking about the things that we say to ourselves,
yes,
or even the things we say about ourselves, whether it be out loud or in our little heads.
In our little heads.
In our little heads does more stuff than out loud.
It does. And I'm going to be transparent with you guys. When I first met Cathleen, she was very adamant about teaching me about this. And I was like, whatever. You knew what I meant. It's not that bad. But you're like, yes, just like how water has memory. You're 70% water. And if you're telling yourself these things or telling yourself these things or thinking it in your head that way, then your body's going to remember it and you're going to start to believe it.
And it becomes a part of you. Whether you're believing it in your mind or you're believing it on a cellular level, right? It's those words, and words carry vibration.
Tell me more about that. What do you mean?
So every living thing, every inanimate object, there is a level of vibration that helps it come into existence. And if you want more information than that, then I suggest you go read some psychic or some physics book.
Some psychic books, some physics books, whatever.
Physics book. But and who knows, maybe we'll have a workshop on that in the future. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun.
But you can feel it. It's like a little experiment. I had Sherry do an experiment. So give me a phrase, Sherry.
Give me a phrase. Bad.
No. We were talking about. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, we were talking about blind spots.
Right. So
when you have a really close friend, sometimes they can see things that you can't see. Mm-hmm. And I know that Sherry and I, we share that back and forth, which we both really appreciate in the other person. And I was just saying to Sherry, I said, you know what? I kind of feel like a little like yucky when you say blind spots, because right away my ego just goes, ew, yeah, what? That just doesn't even feel nice. So I was saying, how about we just say we're shining some light on something. So think about it. So like if you were to say that to yourself, I have a blind spot. Right? And then just feel, how does that feel in you? Opposed to saying, I have something I need to shine a little light on.
Yeah, because I feel like with blind spot, it feels like, I don't know, I just feel inadequate. Like there's something wrong with me or something, as opposed to like, wow, thanks for shedding some light on that. It's like, oh, okay, you're helping me boost like my level of insight.
Yeah, one feels almost a little more loving.
Yes.
And less judging than the other.
Yes. And I think the biggest one that you taught me, I think it was like early on when I was friends with you, the biggest one is when I would say good and bad. And I didn't realize how effective this was, but you would say like, I'd be like, oh, this person has like negative energy or whatever. And you're like, no, don't use that word. That feels, ugh. Why don't we say this person has like maybe a thicker energy, a denser presence? And I was like, okay. And I think I was talking to somebody and I was just like, oh, this person, and I said that word, or I said like, oh, that person's a character, as opposed to saying they're whatever, whatever word I could think of. And right away, as I've been continuing to use that type of language, people are like, wow, I like the way you said there. Like, wow, that just feels so much nicer, or like it, and I didn't realize what big difference that made.
Yeah. And you're talking about stating a fact over stating a judgment.
Right.
And even when we're changing the words that we're using, we want to be careful not to change the meaning along with it, right? We're not replacing a word for the same meaning. Sort of like, how you're saying like bad or good or negative and positive, right? And we're just saying it feels heavier, denser, or feels that feels lighter, right? So we don't want light and dense to be good and bad.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Right? Sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, am I just replacing the words?
Yeah. So you want to be careful that even though we're choosing something that could feel lighter, that it remains lighter, that we're not putting a label with it.
How do you even do that? How do you do that?
It takes practice, like anything in this. It's practice, and I make it a game. So I like to play these like silly little games with myself, and this is how I entertain myself, especially when I'm bored. Bored with whatever activity I'm involved in, right? Is that I just make a game of it. Like, how can I say this so it's more loving of me and them? How can I say this so it feels lighter and brighter, right? So you challenge yourself to come up with those things. And when you do that, make sure that the meaning of the word remains. It's not being replaced with what it is that you're trying to change.
Ah, okay.
Right? So it's changing how you think. We're not changing the words per se. Like, we're not changing meanings of words. We're changing how we think about something.
Oh, for sure.
So, and it comes back to the self-talk, right? So I don't want to get too far away from the self-talk part, because we can talk about, this type of thinking, whole nother podcast, Sherry. Boy,
Next podcast.
I hope you're writing this stuff down, because all of these other podcasts. Anyway. But it's important to say this. So just be sure that, like, when you're playing the game, or you're on the way to finding these lighter, brighter ways of talking, self-talk to oneself, and more loving, that you're just not replacing it with the meaning like good, bad, right?
Yeah.
So, because nothing is really good, nothing's really bad. It just is.
It is.
Right? So if we remember that rule, let's call that a rule of the game. So this is a game we're playing. We're playing a game.
Yes.
Okay? And rule number 1 is nothing's good, nothing's bad. It just is.
Yeah.
Okay? So if we're able to keep that rule in mind, when we are talking about ourselves or to ourselves, let's always be sure that we're saying something that's the lightest possible, right? So, come on. There's times when we do goofy, stupid things, or we break something, and right away we want to call ourselves like cuss words and be mad at ourselves, instead of saying, oh, well, that was fun,
So when I broke my TV,
for instance,
that was fun on my foot. Man, that hurt, but that was fun.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Okay. Still have my foot.
I was thinking about, I had made this spinach smoothie. Mm-hmm. And what I like to do is I'll put it in a glass and I put water in it, and then I'll, when I'm done, and I'll kind of swish the water around just because I want to get every little morsel of it, and then I'll drink the water. But sometimes I'll have some left over that I'll put in a shaker bottle, and I'll put it in the fridge and drink it later. And so the other day I took it out and I drank most of it, and it's really convenient when it's in a shaker bottle, and I put water in it and I can close it up and I can shake it. Right. And I get all of that good stuff. Well, standing in my kitchen, and I have everybody, I have a counter, and then it's a wooden underneath the counter. I have ceramic tile flooring, and then I have like this beautiful wooden cabinet that I keep my dishes in. It's all built in, yes. Right? So I'm standing between the counter and this cabinet, and I'm like, la, 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 like not fully present at what I'm doing. Yeah. And I fill it up with water, I put the lid down, and I go to shake it, and I shake it hard, and woohoo, a spray of spinach water everywhere. Everywhere. And there's blueberries mixed in there. So, blueberry stain, and I have and it even went into like my hallway there where I have a rug.
Oh, no.
So instead of cussing at myself, because I could have, like, you stupid, whatever, right? Yeah. I just took a breath, and then I just stood there and I laughed my butt off. Like, I just laughed. Like, alrighty then, I guess we're going to get a little exercise today.
There we go.
And so I get my salt out, and I'm like throwing the salt down on whatever hit the carpet so it'll just pull it all up.
Ooh, smart.
Yeah. So my little tidbits. Hope you all wrote that one down.
I did.
And then in the meantime, here I am, like on my hands and knees. And now instead of cussing myself, I'm like, oh, look at this. We're doing some cleaning. Unexpectedly, but we're doing some cleaning. Oh, wow. Ooh, it's really dusty there,
You're like, whoopsies.
So I could have beat myself up on it. Mm-hmm. And there's times where I would have. Mm-hmm. But I took note that by laughing at myself, by just making it more of an adventure, it felt a lot lighter, and I didn't end up in a bad mood.
Nice.
Right? Then I was just like, oh, da, 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 da. And it's almost like I have like this little tiny secret with myself, like this little like fun little game, right? Because then somebody in the other room will be like, what was that? Oh, well, I just had some fun out there.
I just had some fun, and there's salt on the floor now.
So it is important.
Yes. I do like your examples, and I love that you're able to state that, because I know for me, in full transparency, that's definitely something I'm trying to work on. Because I think, I think I broke, I'll break a lot of things, and I'm like, I'm the worst because I keep breaking everything, and I'm a klutz, I'm a this, whatever. And you're just like, hey man, take a breath. Everything's fine. It's replaceable. You're fine. And I'm like, wait, yeah, that was kind of funny the way that happened.
Right. But even if we were to take that, right? Oh, I'm a klutz. Oh, look, I break everything. Maybe it's more of like, stronger than I thought. Wow. Okay. Guess I wasn't awake that day. I need to be more awake. Yeah. Okay. I learned I need to pay more attention.
Gotta pay more.
Right. So it's not always about saying great things about yourself, but it's also an opportunity for mindfulness.
Ooh, that word.
What is mindfulness? Do you know, Sherry? What is mindfulness?
You're literally asking me? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Just said the word. So I'm assuming what mindfulness is, it's just kind of like being present and being aware, either within yourself and your surroundings.
Beautifully said.
Yes.
Applause, everybody.
I didn't even have to.
Snaps.
I didn't snaps and claps.
Yeah.
I have an applause button, but I don't know how to use it.
Nicely said. Yes.
Thank you.
And that's also, mindfulness is also a form of meditation.
Get out.
For reals. For
wow.
realsies. Ooh, is that even a word? Yeah, so being loving of yourself and being mindful of the words you choose.
Yes.
And whether they feel light or dense, positive or negative.
Right.
And we're not saying positive or negative as in good or bad. We're just saying like in black and white, right? So it's just, there's always a polarity to everything.
Yeah.
Because that's just how the world works. That's just how life works. But you always want to make sure that you're choosing something that brings you more life, that brings you some kind of level of renewal, something that is feeding you, that's loving of you.
Yeah. Right?
So, you know, I know that we joke that this is the month of February. It's the lover's month. It's love month, you know. And I know that there are a lot of people out there looking for that special someone, looking to be loved, looking to be seen for who and what they are, for all of it. Yeah. The good, the bad, the ugly, you know, or at least that's what they perceive to be good, bad, and ugly. Right. There's nothing more precious than that. And I think that that's almost like a human drive. Right. But hey, you know what? That starts with you. Ooh, yeah.
That's deep. Come in deep, Kathleen.
I dare you. I dare any of you who are listening, whether you're in a relationship, looking for a relationship, have a hope of a relationship, whatever that is, start with yourself. Pamper you. Give you those beautiful, loving words that you want to share with someone else. Start with you first. Because here's the thing. When you really dive in and you love you and you say all these nice things to you, then you realize, hey, how fabulous you really are, because you are. Yes. You're a fabulous, loving being, and you deserve to be loved for all that you are.
Of course.
Why not start loving you for all that you are?
February, self-love month.
That's right. And it does start with the self-talk. And, you know, and we're not talking just the words that are said out loud when you're talking to someone else, right? Right. Because like when you share with me, there's things that you say and I'm like, can we just try that this way? How does that feel? And
yeah.
And what do you say?
It's nice because we've done it back and forth before and you're like, wow, okay, yeah, this does feel better.
And maybe if you have a friend, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic friend, but maybe another friend that you trust. Maybe this is a game the two of you play to practice, right? But even when your self-talk inside of your own head, so like even if we were to relate it to business, right, and going for that special project or going for that promotion or going for that other role or just any role, right? It starts with your own self-talk, because your own self-talk is what builds on your own confidence in the way that you see yourself.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Very long way. And for the longest time when you would first tell me this, I'm like, yeah. That's like our little inside joke, because I used to say that to her a lot. And I was like, oh, you know, they're just words or thought, like whatever. And I think the more I kept doing it, you just start to feel a lot better, a lot lighter, a lot like, I don't know. I was definitely stumbling less over my feet because I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is a this is a nicer way for me to talk about myself this way, or just interacting. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
It is cool. And it's fun. I mean, we could talk about this for a really long time and we could give all kinds of examples, but you as a listener, for those who are listening, I encourage you to practice it. Give it a try. Just even with something small, you know, just feel the difference. And that's part of mindfulness. And it's ever so subtle. It really is. So subtle. But when you try it, you're like, oh, yeah, I can feel that. You'd be amazed.
Right?
Well, I just want to thank you all for listening. And I hope that you enjoyed our conversation and you got something good from it. And we look forward to chatting at you next week.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember that you are bigger than anything that you are going through or anything that is happening around you.